Well, you may forget to pay a bill from time to time or send payments in late when the money's tight. It may seem harmless, but those actions could be shaving hundreds of points off of your credit scores and make it tougher for you to get a loan or a mortgage, things like that. Joining us this morning with the credit killers and how to avoid them, financial analyst and author Jennifer Streaks. Welcome back to the show. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, and so you're talking about these little things that add up, and Tony said it earlier, you can avoid these things, but sometimes life just gets in the way.
Life does get in the way, but you know, with mortgage rates being super low, you have a lot of potential buyers out there trying to buy homes, but they're being shut out because of these little credit things that last a long time over the years on your credit. Like, for instance, my first one is making late payments. Making consistent late payments on your bills just shows that you cannot handle your bills and that you are not financially responsible. So how can a potential creditor extend you credit if you're already showing that you can't handle the bills you already have?
Right. What's the answer? A lot of these companies do the automatic withdrawal. Do you recommend something like that?
Maybe but if you find yourself getting in trouble, I would say you need to talk to your creditor. Okay. Maybe set up a more affordable payment plan, because they send out an automatic notice now in your bill stating that this is the minimum amount that you need to pay. And instead of just missing it all together, set up something that's more affordable, because as long as you're paying something and you're working with your creditor, it looks better than just nothing at all.
Okay, on the other end of that is just carrying too much debt for you.
Too much debt.
How do you sort of evaluate what's too much?
If you're at the top end in all your credit card limits. If everything is behind, if you look at your credit report and every credit card is at the limit or has a balance, it looks like you're living on credit, and that automatically is a red flag. Okay.
Also, just saying I can't pay, defaulting on a creditor.
That is the worst thing. That is the worst thing you can do. If a creditor has to write off the balance, if they just have to say, you know what, we're not going to get any money out of this debtor, that is the worst thing you can do, and it sends a red flag, and you're not going to get any other credit extended to you.
Okay. Is there a way to, perhaps, if you said, okay, can I pay this $2,500 balance? Can I pay $700 or whatever? Can you try to work with them?
You can try to work something out, a settlement, especially if this has been going on for a very long time. It's better to try to work something out than to leave it on the books as an unpaid debt.
This one is a little harder. Tax liens or judgments.
This is what happens when you default with a creditor. You get or the IRS. The tax lien comes out of not paying your taxes. That's really, really bad and stays on your credit for about 10 years. Okay. Judgments, it's bad because basically you're showing that people have to take you to court to get money that is owed to them. There's no way. It's going to be very difficult for you to get credit after that.
Some people say bankruptcy is a way out to start to rebuild. You list it, though, as a credit killer. What's the real story on bankruptcy here?
Some people see it as a way to push the refresh button, especially if you haven't had a job for a really long time, you have huge medical bills, going through divorce and whatnot. But be cautious here, because it's not just a fix-all. It's not a cure-all. It is a blemish on your record. It stays on there for 10 years, and it basically showed that you walked away from a large amount of debt. You have several creditors that were unpaid. So you're going to have to rebuild that trust. It's going to take at least 3 to 5 years before creditors even start looking at you potentially again. Okay.
So know the real deal before you do that. Okay. Jennifer Streaks is a financial analyst and author and friend of the show. Thanks so much for the great advice as always. Tony, over to you.
The Fox 5 weather app. Look 10 days ahead or hour by hour. View today's video forecast and radar that can pinpoint your neighborhood free at your app store or Android market.